True Love Wins. By Lu and Zhang Linghe's emotional reunion leaves fans in tears. The story of Bai Lu and Zhang Linghe has never been simple. From the devastating car crash that shook their world, to the endless confrontations with her family, to Zhang Linghe's tearful threat to walk away forever, their love has been tested in ways that seemed almost unbearable. And yet, against every odd, every voice telling them to give up, one truth has remained unshaken: their hearts beat only for each other. This week, fans were gifted the moment they had been praying for: the reunion of Bai Lu and Zhang Linghe. A reunion so emotional, so raw, and so drenched in love that countless viewers admitted to crying as they watched events unfold. For many, this was more than just a love story. This was proof that true love, when fought for, always wins. The midnight breaking point. It was after midnight in the hospital when the scene unfolded. Rain lashed against the windows, as if echoing the storm of emotions inside. Bai Lu lay awake, her fragile frame illuminated by the pale glow of the monitors beside her bed. Her mind wasn't on her recovery, it was on him. Zhang Linghe. Every whispered argument with her family, every moment of tension, every ounce of pain she had endured, it had all been fueled by one burning desire: to see him again. But since his vow to leave after the family's last cruel insult, he had vanished. Until tonight. The sound of the door creaking open jolted her. Her heart stuttered as she turned, and there he was, drenched from the rain, his eyes wide, his breath ragged. For a moment, neither moved. The weight of weeks apart held them frozen in place. Then, as if the universe itself pushed them forward, Zhang Linghe crossed the room in 3 strides and dropped to his knees beside her bed. "I couldn't stay away," he whispered, voice breaking. "I tried, Lua. But every step I took away from you felt like death." Tears slipped down Bai Lu's cheeks as she cupped his face in her trembling hands. "Then don't leave. Not now. Not ever." The flood of emotions. The dam burst. Everything they had buried, every fear, every ache, every desperate hope poured out in that fragile moment. Zhang Linghe's voice cracked as he confessed the torment of staying away, the nights spent staring at her name on his phone but never daring to call. Bai Lu admitted the hollow ache of waking each morning without him, her soul suffocating in silence. The tension of the past weeks melted into sobs, kisses, and whispered promises. Fans who later recounted the scene online admitted they sobbed uncontrollably watching Bai Lu press her forehead against his and whisper, "Even if the world stands against us, I will stand with you." Those words would go viral within hours, tagged across social media as the ultimate declaration of love. The family's interruption. But their reunion was not without drama. Just as their embrace deepened, the door flung open and there stood Bai Lu's mother and brother. Gasps filled the room. The fragile peace of the night shattered into a storm once again. Her mother's voice shook with fury. "How dare you come back here? After everything, after nearly destroying her, you still think you belong by her side." Zhang Linghe rose, his arm protectively wrapping around Bai Lu, his eyes blazing. "I don't just think I belong here. I know it. Because she chose me. Not your fear, not your control, me. And I will never leave her again." The room vibrated with tension. Bai Chen clenched his fists, his protective instincts warring with his sister's desperate pleas. But this time, Bai Lu's voice was louder, stronger, more commanding than ever before. "Stop. I will not let you decide my life anymore. This," she clung to Zhang Linghe's hand, "is my happiness. If you truly love me, you'll let me fight for it." Her defiance stunned them all. For once, her family had no immediate retort. Fans witness a love that heals. As dawn approached, the most unexpected moment unfolded. Exhausted by the confrontation, Bai Lu's mother sank into a chair and whispered through tears, "I don't understand this kind of love. But if it gives you strength, then maybe I was wrong. It wasn't full forgiveness. It wasn't full acceptance. But it was a beginning. A small opening in the wall that had kept them apart. And for Zhang Linghe and Bai Lu, that was enough." He leaned into her ear, his voice breaking as he whispered, "See, even the world can bend for us." Her laugh was soft, broken by tears, but filled with hope. The internet explodes. When photos of their emotional reunion leaked online, Bai Lu's tears glistening as Zhang Linghe held her close, fans across the globe erupted. Hashtags like #TrueLoveWins, #Linghe and Lu Forever, and #Fans in Tears dominated trending charts within hours. One viral post read, "If this isn't the definition of love, I don't know what is." Zhang Linghe didn't just return, he came back stronger, fiercer, more devoted than ever. And Bai Lu? She chose him in front of everyone. "My heart can't take this." Even celebrities weighed in, some praising the courage of their love, others admitting they cried watching the clip of Bai Lu whispering, "Don't leave. Not now. Not ever. A promise for forever." By morning, the hospital no longer felt like a battlefield. It felt like sacred ground where pain turned into healing, and where broken hearts were stitched back together. As the sun's rays spilled across her bed, Zhang Linghe pulled out a small silver ring. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't planned. But it was everything. "I don't have the right words. I don't have the perfect moment. But I do have this promise. Never again will I let fear, pride, or anyone else come between us. Bai Lu, will you keep walking this road with me?" Bai Lu's tears sparkled as she nodded. "Always." And in that room, with the eyes of the world on them and their family silently watching from the shadows, their love finally won, not through grand gestures, but through raw, unshaken devotion. The legacy of their love. What makes this reunion unforgettable isn't just the romance, it's the resilience. It's two people who refused to let go, even when every force around them tried to pull them apart. For fans, their story isn't just about Bai Lu and Zhang Linghe. It's about believing in love that survives storms, love that heals wounds, and love that, against all odds, wins. And as their journey continues, one truth will forever echo across every heart that witnessed their story. True love doesn't just endure. True love conquers. The night had already been heavy with silence, but when Bai Lu and Zhang Linghe's eyes met across the hospital room, time itself seemed to collapse. The weight of everything they had endured, the crash, the accusations, the family's anger, hung thick between them, but the undeniable pull of their hearts refused to be silenced. The first touch. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other. Her eyes were glossy from unshed tears, his red and weary from countless sleepless nights. Slowly, Zhang Linghe reached forward, hesitating as though afraid she might vanish if he dared to touch her. Finally, his hand brushed hers. It was a simple gesture, but to them, it felt like a rebirth. Bai Lu gasped softly, her chest tightening, the monitor by her bedside betraying the quickening of her heartbeat. "I thought I'd lost you forever," she whispered, her voice trembling. Zhang Linghe lowered his head, pressing her hand against his cheek. "You never lost me. Even when I walked away, even when I tried to bury my feelings, I was still yours. I always will be." Her tears spilled over, sliding down her face as she clung to him. That touch, that closeness, erased weeks of loneliness and replaced it with a tidal wave of love too powerful to contain. A room flooded with memories. As Zhang Linghe sat beside her, the floodgates opened. They began recalling moments of their past, whispers exchanged during late-night shoots, laughter spilling out as they walked hand-in-hand under city lights, and the stolen kisses that had made the world feel distant. "Do you remember that night on the rooftop?" Bai Lu asked, her lips trembling through a smile. "You swore you'd never let me cry again." Zhang Linghe's eyes glistened. "And I broke that promise," he said, voice cracking. "I left you to face everything alone. I thought I was protecting you. But I was wrong. The only place I belong is by your side." The weight of his words hung in the air. Fans who later saw leaked footage of the reunion described it as a scene that felt straight out of a drama, but real, achingly, beautifully real. The heartbreaking plea. Bai Lu's fingers tightened around his hand, her tears now falling faster. "Don't ever leave me again, Linghe. Not because of them, not because of fear, not because of anything. If I have to fight the whole world, I can, but not without you." Her plea was raw, desperate, and filled with the kind of vulnerability she rarely showed anyone. In that moment, Zhang Linghe broke. His forehead pressed against hers, his shoulders shaking as silent sobs overcame him. "I swear, Lua. Never again." I'll face them, I'll face every storm, every insult, every wound. Just don't let me go. That vow, whispered between trembling lips, would become the centerpiece of every headline the next day. Zhang Linghe promises Bai Lu, never again will I leave you. The witness to their love. Unbeknownst to them, a nurse passing by the room had paused at the door, frozen by the intensity of the scene. She wasn't intruding, she couldn't move. Something about the sight of two souls clinging to each other so desperately pierced her heart. Later, she would confess online, I've seen hundreds of patients reunited with loved ones, but nothing compared to that night. It wasn't just romance, it was survival. They weren't just in love, they were saving each other. The storm of emotions. The room soon filled with a symphony of emotions, his sobs, her laughter through tears, the pounding of their hearts. Zhang Linghe gently wiped her cheeks, brushing away every drop as though cleansing her of pain. Then came the kiss. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't wild. It was a slow, trembling seal of everything they had endured. Her hand gripped the back of his neck, pulling him closer, while his arms wrapped carefully around her fragile frame. The world outside ceased to exist. For fans who saw the grainy leaked clip of that kiss, it became iconic. Thousands of posts flooded online, with captions like, "That kiss wasn't for drama. That was a promise." When words weren't enough. Even after their reunion, silence stretched between them, but it wasn't empty, it was full. They sat together, forehead to forehead, breathing each other in as though filling lungs that had been starved for too long. Finally, Zhang Linghe broke the silence. I brought something. From his pocket, he pulled out a small folded paper, worn at the edges. He handed it to her with trembling hands. She unfolded it slowly. Inside was a handwritten letter, unfinished, messy, but painfully sincere. It read, "If I can't stay by your side, I'll carry you in every breath I take. If I can't hold your hand, I'll keep reaching for you in my dreams. But even if the world shatters, I will find my way back to you. Because you are home." Bai Lu broke into sobs as she read, clutching the paper to her chest before pressing it against his heart. "Then don't just find your way back. Stay. Stay home with me." The dawn of hope. By the time dawn crept into the room, painting everything in soft gold, Bai Lu and Zhang Linghe were still together, her head resting on his shoulder, his hand never letting go of hers. It was a picture of survival. A picture of love that had been torn apart but pieced back together, stronger than before. For their fans, it was the scene they had prayed for, the one that proved the endless fights, the heartbreaks, the separations had all led to this moment. A reunion drenched in love, vulnerability, and a promise of forever. The world reacts. Within hours of the leaked photos, the internet erupted. The hashtags #NeverLetGo, #LingheandLu and #TrueLoveWins dominated global trends. One fan wrote, "I don't care if you're a skeptic or a hopeless romantic. If that reunion doesn't break you, you don't have a heart." Another admitted, "Watching them find each other again reminded me why I believe in love at all." Bai Lu and Zhang Linghe didn't just reunite, they gave hope to all of us.